Hello everyone and welcome to my channel YNR Trends. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Claire's hand shook as she placed the small velvet pouch into Matt's palm. Its unexpected weight feeling like guilt pressing against his skin. For a moment that felt frozen in time, he wondered if the world had stopped between them. The silence so thick it seemed even the clock in the Newman tower had paused. "Take this," she whispered, her voice trembling with fear and anger. Fear of what Victor had done, anger at what he might still do. Those 4 words hung between them like a secret too dangerous to speak, and Matt wasn't sure he was ready to carry it. But Claire's eyes, filled with the pain of betrayal, left no choice. She believed this object could end everything, once and for all, and Matt felt her determination flow through the pouch, as if it carried a promise he wasn't meant to understand. He swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his ears, remembering every warning, every hushed rumor at the ranch, every phone call that ended the moment he walked into a room, every look Victor gave whenever Connor was mentioned. Though no one had ever confirmed the accusations, the suspicion had clung to them like smoke, thick and suffocating, impossible to ignore, yet impossible to prove until now. Claire leaned in closer, her breath shaky with urgency, her fingers gripping his hand tightly as if afraid he'd drop the pouch and break the fragile hope she had held in secret for weeks. Matt felt her desperation sink into him, stirring memories of his encounters with Victor. His calm, his voice that could be both comforting and dangerous, the way power seemed to flow from him like a second skin. Matt had once admired Victor, believed in the family's legend, but the illusion had broken when Claire showed him what she found in the locked wing of the ranch. Down the hallway Victor said was under renovation. That hallway wasn't filled with tools. It was lined with monitors, files and pictures like trophies, and one of them, Claire insisted, was of Connor, dated 2 months after Victor told the family he had been taken overseas. Matt had wanted to believe she was wrong, that she was just scared, that her paranoia came from the way Jordan had manipulated her before. But the look in her eyes left no room for doubt. And now the pouch in his hand, heavy with fate, only made the worst possibilities feel real. "What's inside?" Matt asked, his voice so quiet he barely recognized it. Claire shook her head, her blonde hair fluttering as if she were refusing to let the truth slip away. "If you look, you won't go through with it. Just take it and end this. Tonight. Before Victor destroys us all. Before he vanishes forever. Before he takes control and starts pulling the strings around every life we care about, the way he always does." Her words echoed in Matt's mind, reminding him of Victor's cold warning from earlier that afternoon. "Some battles aren't yours to fight, son," said with a smile that had no warmth, just a cruel sense of fun. Matt felt a shiver run through him as he thought about what it all meant. Victor had a lot of power, connections and hidden things. And if the evidence, or whatever Claire said it was, could really bring him down, then using it would mean walking into a fight where very few make it out alive. Claire's breath hitched. "Please, Matt," she begged, her fingers gripping his forearm tightly, pressing hard enough to leave bruises. "No more excuses. No need to explain him anymore because of who he is or the image he tries to show. You know what he's capable of. He framed Adam. He forced Nick into silence. He buried Nate's scandal. And now he has Connor." Matt closed his eyes, struggling with a battle inside himself, loyalty against truth, fear against duty, love against protecting himself. And with every thought, he saw Claire standing alone again in that cold, empty hallway, her voice shaking as she told the secrets she had seen. Secrets so terrible she was scared she might go mad if she didn't speak out. The memory of her tears made him feel a protection he didn't realize he had, and something deep inside him began to change, a quiet decision. Growing stronger. Even as his resolve grew stronger, uncertainty crept in. Was Claire being honest? Or was this just another uncertain thought? Another shaky idea born from past pain and lack of trust? He needed proof, and that sense of urgency made him feel a physical pain. But Claire put a shaking finger on his lips, stopping him from asking any questions before they even came out. "Don't ask. Don't think. Just do it." The words rang out, deep and unshakable, and Matt felt the moment break around him. Like every choice and every possible future was splitting into separate paths waiting for his decision. Deep inside his chest, fear rose up, pushing him to turn back, to break the pouch and pretend none of this had ever happened. But another feeling, anger, was even stronger, driven by the picture of Connor's scared eyes in the bad quality photos Claire had shown him. Pictures he hoped were fake but now worried might be true. Anger towards Victor for tricking, forcing and controlling others, treating them like tools in a game he wanted to win. Anger at himself for not doing something earlier. And anger at fate for giving him such a heavy and unbearable responsibility. He opened his eyes and saw Claire looking at him, trying to figure out what he was going to decide. Her face, which was usually calm, now shook with a mix of hope and fear. She wasn't asking Matt to actually kill Victor, though her words felt like they could end his life and everything he stood for, but she wanted Matt to take the pouch, use it, and reveal whatever truth was inside, even if it ruined Victor's name, his standing, and his power. The metaphorical death of a titan. Matt gave a single nod, final and unchangeable, feeling the pouch press against his skin like a mark branding him with his destiny. Claire let out a sign of relief but still had fear in her eyes, like she understood the price of betrayal, even when it was the right thing to do, because the target was Victor Newman. "Be careful," she whispered. "His walls have eyes." Matt quickly put the pouch into his coat just as loud footsteps came walking down the hall. Claire's face turned pale. She stepped back, trying to hide her fear with a weak smile as Victor turned the corner. He stood tall, his presence making everyone feel small, and his eyes were as sharp as cutting tools. Matt tried to look calm as Victor's eyes moved between them, showing suspicion that shone like shiny metal. "Everything okay?" Victor asked slowly, his voice carrying a quiet threat. Matt swallowed. "Never better." He lied, pulse hammering. Victor nodded, but the slight raise of one eyebrow showed he knew there was something not quite right. As he walked away, every step he took felt like the ticking of a clock, and Matt noticed the heavy weight in his coat moving in a way that made him feel uneasy. He knew in that moment there was no going back. Whatever Claire had given him could undo everything. The Empire, the Dynasty, the legend of Victor's unbreakable power, and Matt would be the one to tug the first string. Claire looked directly into his eyes from across the hallway, and even though they didn't say a single word, they both knew what was coming. Tonight, the truth would come out and Victor's control, which had been carefully built, would finally be challenged. As Matt turned to follow Victor into the elevator, the soft pouch against his ribs kept thumping in a steady beat, reminding him. He realized that endings don't usually come with big explosions. Sometimes they start with just 4 quiet words: "Take this and kill Victor," and the calm determination of a man who's had enough. The elevator doors closed, leaving Matt and Victor in a tight, quiet space that felt like it was buzzing with static. The mirrored wall showed Victor from many different angles, like an empire that had grown bigger and bigger, and for a short moment Matt felt small, not because of Victor himself, but because of his legacy, the many years of tough choices that had shaped his face, like medals won in a battle. Victor pressed the button for the executive level with the easy confidence of someone who never doubted that doors would open for him. They always did. Matt moved a little, aware of the soft pouch against his chest, feeling like it was beating in a rhythm all its own. Every time the elevator cable moved, it made a vibration that went up through his shoes, and all he could think about was the secret inside that pouch. A secret Claire thought could bring down an entire family. Victor's voice was low and hard to read, breaking through the thick tension. Claire seemed distressed. Statement, not a question. Matt kept his gaze forward. "She's been facing a lot of stress." Victor hummed to himself, thinking about it. "Pressure makes diamonds or dust." The elevator bell rang, and the doors opened to show a shiny marble hallway leading to Victor's private office, the place where deals were made, trust was checked, and lives were changed. Victor stepped out and gestured for Matt to come along. Then the doors closed behind them quietly and firmly. Matt swallowed the rising panic. This was it. He was walking voluntarily toward the lion's den, holding the tool that could reveal the beast's true nature. Inside the office, the city lights spread out below the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking like stars that Victor had rearranged with his own choice. Victor walked over to his desk in a calm and steady manner. "Sit." Matt sat. His pulse thudded against his throat. Victor's eyes assessed him, piercing, calculating. "You're troubled." It wasn't a worry, it was a warning. Matt forced a disarming smile. "Just tired." "Long week." Victor nodded slowly, as though taking note of every betrayal he thought he had seen and storing it for future use. "You must remember," he said, his voice lowering to a threatening whisper. "Loyalty is the key to staying alive in this family." Matt nodded, pretending to agree. while Claire's desperate request kept replaying in his head. Tonight. Before he destroys us all. Victor leaned back, steepling his hands. Tell me something, Matthew. Why were you and Claire whispering in the corridor? Matt's mind quickly searched for a reasonable explanation. She needed advice. Personal matter. Victor raised an eyebrow, a hint of amusement creeping into his usual calm expression. Personal matters can turn into big problems. The sentence hung between them like a secret agreement. Matt understood that Victor didn't make threats casually. He just accepted that things were going to happen. The pouch felt even warmer against Matt's ribs, pushing him to take action. He moved slightly, getting ready to take it out quietly, so he could face Victor with the truth. No matter what kind of truth it was. Before he could move, the office door suddenly swung open and Nikki came in quickly, out of breath, her eyes showing a calm but intense fear. Victor, she gasped. It's Connor. He's missing. Again. Matt froze. A fissure ripped through the moment. Victor slowly stood up, his face showing no clear emotion but a quick glance. Was it fear? Anger? Cut through the facade before reforming. Explain. Nikki took a shaky breath. Security found a back entrance disabled. His room is empty. No trace. Matt stared at Victor. Was this real surprise? Or was it just an act by a man who had planned everything? Victor's jaw clenched. We'll find him, he said. He started walking toward the door, but stopped when he noticed Matt hadn't moved. Well? Are you coming? Matt hesitated. Claire's warning sounded even stronger now that Connor was really gone. Before he vanishes, Connor is gone forever. Nikki's eyes quickly moved to Matt's coat, staying there as if she could feel some hidden danger in its weight. She frowned, recognition sparking. What are you carrying? Matt flinched. Nothing. Nikki seemed unsure, but Victor cut in quickly. We don't have time for this. He rushed past them, talking quickly into his phone. Nikki walked behind, quickly looking back at Matt one more time. Matt's legs felt really heavy when he walked into the hallway. The pouch became heavier as well, like it was taking in the weight of the moment. If he opened it right now in front of Victor and Nikki, the truth might come out, and the results would be unstoppable. But if he didn't say anything, Connor could disappear entirely. He put his hand into his coat and closed his fingers around the pouch. His pulse thundered. The elevator opened. Victor stepped inside. Nikki turned. Matt took a step toward them. But then his phone vibrated. A message from Claire. Don't let Victor out of your sight. And don't open it yet. Not until you reach the ranch basement. Trust me. Matt's breath caught. The ranch basement. The locked section of the house that Claire had found. If she wanted him to take the pouch there, it meant the thing inside wasn't just evidence, it was part of a bigger plan. But Victor was about to leave the building. If Matt got on the elevator, he would be stuck again. If he didn't, Victor might think something was wrong and take Nikki to deal with things on his own, leaving Matt out and making sure Connor's outcome is final. Victor's voice snapped. Matthew. He held out his hand to keep the elevator doors from closing. Coming. The question sounded harmless, but it carried a deadly meaning. Matt opened his mouth, unsure whether to make a choice that could save everyone or one that would destroy them all. But before he could say anything, loud security alarms started ringing through the tower. Red lights pulsed overhead. Emergency lockdown initiated. The elevator froze. Victor muttered a curse under his breath and pushed past Matt to head toward the secured stairwell. Nikki sprinted after him. Matt went down the stairs on instinct, his heart racing as they moved deeper into the building. Each echo sounded like a countdown on a clock that Matt couldn't control. When they got to the lobby, there was a big mess. Workers were being sent out by security, doors were locked, and people were shouting loudly. Victor barked orders, demanding reports. Nikki dialed numbers with trembling fingers. Matt saw his chance. As the confusion grew, he moved behind a column and took out the pouch. He loosened the drawstrings and stopped. One glimpse might unravel everything prematurely. Claire had warned. Not yet. He tightened the strings, breath shaking. The weight felt different now. More like destiny pressing down than just metal or paper, squeezing into something tiny but powerful. He turned to look at Victor and told the private guards to make sure all possible escape routes were covered. A dad worried about his grandchild, or a kidnapper trying to hide the proof. Matt's phone buzzed once more, saying, "Get out of the tower now. Go to the ranch. Basement door code 1470. Do not speak to anyone." Matt pocketed the phone. He moved toward the emergency exit before Victor could see him, but halfway there Nikki's voice called out, "Matt? Where are you going?" He froze. Eyes turned. Victor's gaze narrowed dangerously. Matt forced calm. "I'm going to check the parking garage. Connor might have been taken that way." Nikki nodded, full of hope and desperation. Victor said nothing. His silence was worse than accusation. Matt forced his way out through the emergency exit into the cold night. The door slammed shut behind him. He exhaled shakily, sprinting toward his car. The soft pouch hit his ribs every time he took a step. Adrenaline surged. He dropped his keys, sat in the driver's seat, and turned on the engine. Tires screeched. The tower shrank in the rearview mirror. The road faded around him, headlights cutting through the dark as they headed toward the Newman ranch. All through that time Matt's thoughts kept spinning. About Connor going missing, Victor's confusing way of acting in charge, Nikki's doubts, and Claire's worries. The pouch was sitting in the passenger seat, looking dark and quiet. 5 minutes into the drive, Matt noticed headlights behind him, bright and steady. Another car trailing close. Too close. Matt's breath hitched. He changed lanes. The car matched. He accelerated. The car accelerated. Someone was following him. He gripped the wheel, knuckles white. The ranch gate was clearly visible in the distance. Matt hit the code 1470, and the gates started to open very slowly, like they were in pain. The trailing car sped up. Matt moved through as the gate closed quickly. The headlights stopped on the other side with the engine running slowly. Watching. Waiting. Matt parked near the main house. The windows shimmered softly, like a giant that was asleep and didn't know that something bad was happening beneath it. He picked up the pouch, ran quickly through the courtyard, and entered through the side door Claire had pointed out to him before. The house was strangely quiet, with shadows stretching far across the shiny floors. Matt crept through the hallway, heart pounding. The basement door loomed. He entered the code. The lock clicked. He went down into the dark, grabbed the chain for the one light bulb above. The basement smelled of dust and secrets. Claire stepped out from behind a support beam, her eyes showing both fear and determination. "You made it," she whispered. Matt held out the pouch. "Now tell me what's inside." Claire hesitated. "Once you know, you can't unknow. Victor will destroy anyone who discovers this truth," Matt said, his jaw tightening. "Connor's missing. There's no turning back," Claire said, taking a breath, untying the pouch with shaky hands, and then flipping it upside down onto the worn workbench. Something metallic clattered softly. A tiny flash drive and one little brass key. Matt stared. "What is this?" Claire swallowed hard. "Proof. And access." She slid the key across the surface. "The flash drive has video from Victor's surveillance area. The key opens the safe that's hidden behind the old wine rack. Inside the safe are files, contracts, blackmail letters, and documents that connect Victor to illegal treatment centers abroad." She met Matt's stunned gaze. "Connor wasn't kidnapped. Victor moved him. And if we don't stop him right now, no one will ever see Connor again." Matt stepped back, his head shaking. "There must be an explanation," Claire's voice cracked. "There isn't. He did it to keep the family's legacy safe. To handle Connor's behavioral issues permanently. He thinks he's saving the Newmans," Matt said, staring at the flash drive, feeling a wave of nausea rising in his stomach. Everything he believed about Victor fractured. Footsteps thundered upstairs. Claire's eyes widened. "He followed you." The basement door swung wide open. Victor's voice boomed. "Matthew." "Claire." Matt grabbed the flash drive and key, his mind speeding up. Claire spoke quickly and softly. "If he comes down here, it's all done. You have to run. Expose the truth publicly. Take it and end this." The pouch phrase echoed through Matt's bloodstream. "Take this and kill Victor." Metaphor made reality. Matt looked toward the staircase. Victor's shadow reached down far, like a bad sign. Matt looked at Claire one last time, and his determination became as strong as steel. "I'll finish this." He threw the things into his pocket and ran quickly toward the basement exit that led into the woods. Claire faced the stairs, her voice calm even though her hands were shaking. "Go. Then Matt vanished into the night as Victor got to the bottom step.